Oh, nice. Welcome to Paris.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Bienvenue. It's a nice car. Anton, the intro here said 0 to 75 million in 7 months. Is that?
No, it updates every day, like millions. So we're at 90 now.
You're 90 million. That's insane. How long have you been live with the product?
So we launched Lovable as a tool where you can take your idea, write it in text, and get a product in late November last year. So that's 7 months ago.
That's insane. Maybe we can just take a step back. A lot of these fast-growing companies is about timing and finding the right time to build and to launch. You started a company almost 2 years ago, started building almost 2 years ago. What was it then that led you to believe that Lovable could be built? What did you see at that point?
Yeah, so our thesis was that creating software as you've done to date with an empty text editor and then starting writing is going to become more efficient with AI, but it's not the ultimate way to build software products. And specifically, we've seen software eating the world for the last few decades, but only very, very few people with very specialized knowledge, much less than 1%, can really do the full thing of taking a product from nothing to being live and serving customers. And what the big possibility with it that AI enables is that the 99% can now take their ideas into working software without needing to find really excellent engineers that can be the startup CTO or they can be the head of engineering at a large company. And so that was our thesis. And since we launched in November, we've really seen even more pull from the 99% that are builders at heart, and now they can unleash their creativity by building software.
How many users do you have, and how much is built by Lovable snapshot today?
Okay, so we have more than 1.5 million signed up users, and 180,000 of them are paying customers every month. And every day there's 70,000 new projects. So that's websites and full stack applications, SaaS software created and started every day.
That's insane. Why do you think? Why is this happening now? What are people doing? What's the pull?
Well, I mean, this has people have been wanting to do this for decades. I think, or 2 decades at least. But it's only now that you can go from an idea to a working product in minutes or hours, which used to take months. That the demand can fully be unleashed, and like all of this. Like I think we created 10% of all the new websites on the internet last month. And
last month in June, Lovable created 10% of all the websites.
All the new websites, yes. So that comes from that it's suddenly much faster and much more affordable.
But what are tell us what are people building?
Yeah. So humans generally won't like to build things, and the humans are very different. So we're seeing hundreds of completely different things being built. But one of the early indicators that are like, okay, there's clearly product market fit here, was a guy called Anders. He's the product lead at the 500 people company, Epidemic Sound tracking the internet. And he told me, Anton, look, I've been trying to communicate what we should build at the company, 500 people, right? With things like writing a document and circulating that document, getting people to get excited about it. And people maybe read or skim the document and they don't fully internalize it. But when he got access to our tool, he was able to just build the full thing with AI capabilities and circulate it in the company. And then the published link, so one click and you have it as a website, spread inside the company. And when quarterly planning for what to build next came around, everyone was already aligned that we're going to add these new AI features that everyone had internalized at the company what to do. So this use case is extremely mature, where you can align faster in teams on what to build and connect to the entire existing engineering team if you have an existing engineering team. So that's one of the enterprise use cases, together with building internal tools and websites for marketing and so on. But the other use case that I'm very excited about is where we see the most revenue still is from founders that are starting from nothing to build a new product, and many of them make tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands. There are even examples of making millions of dollars of products built end to end on a platform.
That's amazing. Are there any examples you can mention of such products or companies that have been built?
Yes. So one fun example was that I think Andrew Wilkinson tweeted like, "Hey, I hate DocuSign for signing documents," and then someone used Lovable to build a DocuSign clone, a huge SaaS company, right? A clone of DocuSign with Lovable. He did it in 2 days and started making money, and then DocuSign sends him a legal threat to take down the website because they need to defend their like completely overpriced SaaS. So that's an example. And then you have more established companies. I think Concuras in Brazil, they built a Lovable app, like a new educational product for them. And in the first 2 days of launching it, they had I think $3 million of revenue signed up on it. So they're established companies. New companies are making lots of money in this product.
So of course, this is a as a venture capitalist, this is a dream where yeah.
More fun.
So this is I'm gonna steal 2 seconds here. The thing with venture capital is that you say that you're always as good as your next deal, right? Which means you can't rest on your laurels. But if you just give me these remaining 13 minutes of resting on the Lovable laurel and enjoying the moment, I will be very, very happy. This is just it's insane. Anyway, I wanted to say that some of the best returns in venture capital are created by companies that created transactions where there were none before. Just enabled things to be built that couldn't be built before, and it sounds like that's exactly what Lovable is doing.
Yeah, I mean the market for developers becoming more productive with AI is, like as I mentioned, it's like about 1%. This is a much larger market, so it's growing very fast.
Could you talk a little bit about how you navigate this balance between, on the one hand, builders and prosumers, and on the other hand, enterprises? Are you going to be building Lovable as a company to serve both, or one?
So what we care about is to really craft an interface where we as a team deeply understand our users, where they can have the best experience interacting with AI that create things for them. And now recently we have a new version of Lovable in beta where it can do much more things than just build it. You can ask it to research the internet or research existing documents that we have and pull that in. And such an interface, like us humans, we want to use one interface where we can get access to as much as possible, and we can collaborate with other humans inside of this interface. And then it's natural to build for everyone, and just doing that with two specific end of the spectrum, which is this people starting companies from scratch and building it into large companies, and individuals that have been frustrated with work, like how difficult it is to get engineering resources inside of large companies. And both of these two categories our tool is very, very suited for today. And as AI progresses extremely rapidly, what you can do with it also very, very rapidly expands.
Back in December, when we tried and eventually succeeded to invest, we observed that there was at that time at least 3 or 4 other companies that were doing similar things. At least 3 of them from the US, and all of them with quite some head start. So what happened?
We had the better product.
Because today it's not the scene has shifted. Like 6-7 months later, it's a different.
Yeah. So if you look at the web traffic, I think we're 2x the runner-up, and we've become a bit synonymous with this space.
And I think, just in this crowd, I think it's important to just let this sink in. Here's a company started out of Europe with some catch-up to do with companies that are well-funded from a continent that is traditionally known for building good software. And this company has overtaken and sort of actually established itself as a leader in the market. I think it's phenomenal and a role model of many kinds. Do you think there's a special reason for why you could do this in Europe?
So I think you could do this from other places, but an advantage doing it from Europe is that they're more, like some of them very ambitious, creative, but also experienced engineers are ready and able to join a movement or a startup. Startup is a movement much more readily than in the US, where there are much more large tech companies where people are kind of locked down with golden handcuffs and so on. So it is an advantage for that. And that's all our success depends on the team that we have assembled, and how we work together as a team to understand our users, prioritize completely new creative ideas with really making the product work well.
And is there some inspiration that you can leave with us in terms of how you built the organization? What has been the North Stars in getting that kind of organization, that kind of culture in place?
So I talk a lot about the most important thing for each person is to care a lot about the users, the product, and how we work as a team together, who is on the team, and really ensure we're all obsessed about that part, like all of these aspects, and that creates this kind of self-reinforcing improvement loop on how we work together and who gets on the team, and ensuring they get onboarded really well. So if you have a team where everyone shares that ambition and thinks a lot about it, then it hopefully ends up in a good place.
And maybe if you put yourself in the shoes of someone in the audience here who's a leader, either a CEO or C-level executive or a team leader, and you ask yourself the question, how do I know if I'm on the right side of the AI future? Like, how can I tell that my team has sort of stepped up to this opportunity? How would you try to answer that for yourself?
Okay, this is a good question. I will try to give some kind of answer. So, if you're feeling that the people in your company are very excited about new ways to use AI and trying actively to automate their work and move faster and share the new ways they're using AI inside of the company, then I think that's an important block for being on the right side of the tide. If people are just like hearing about AI but they don't react, then you should do something. Definitely, you should run a workshop where everyone just uses AI together, socialize it. And the second part would be about what type of company you are. I think fundamentally, as AI can do more and more of the things that us humans have been good at, the biggest part what's left for us is to understand what do humans want. And if your company is solving a problem in that space, like what do humans want in terms of design, in terms of what a product how it should work, like user experience-wise, then you're in a good place. I think maybe also if you're really like breaking grounds frontier-wise somewhere in science, bio, that could also be a very good place to be.
Those are great answers. Maybe we talk a little bit about the future for the last couple of minutes here. What do you see are the biggest limitations of the current agentic coding tools, and maybe Lovable included? Like, what are the things that you're most excited to sort of unlock to make Lovable even better?
Yeah. So one thing that's big for us is that you should intuitively understand everything that's happening when you talk to Lovable. It's a software engineer, and it's hard to know exactly what a software engineer does day to day, but it's definitely possible by visualizing more things, explaining more things, and being more educational so that you can really use it to its full potential and build a fully working, high-quality product, which not all of our users have learned to do yet. So that's a big thing, the educational part of it inside of the product. Secondly, for the people that are successful in putting a product out there with customers, paying customers, what happens is that then you become very scared of changing something in the product, because it could result in that something that was working does not work anymore. And I mean, this challenge is something that all large companies with engineers are facing, and like, you get hundreds and hundreds of engineers, but you still don't move faster because you're so afraid of worsening, having some kind of regression. And the big next frontier for our platform, where you build products on, is to ensure that, that when you ask for a change to the AI, you can be 100% certain that you will not have any problems taking this into production or evolving your product. So that's one of the big AI challenges that you need a lot of creativity, a lot of smart engineers to resolve, and which we're working on.
And what do you see Lovable doing as a platform? You know, beyond these sort of shorter term unlocks. Like Lovable is today the place you come to start your business and
yes.
build your product. And what is the vector of growth from there?
Yeah, so if you zoom out, like any company will not want to work as traditional engineering organizations do today, with a lot of different systems that are kind of interconnected. You want one very opinionated way in how all software on your company runs, where anyone, the non-technical people, can collaborate with the more technical people. And that's the entire platform is what we're building out towards. And if you're one entrepreneur, you should just be able to go to this platform and run your entire business on top of it.
So that means Lovable will get involved in testing and scaling and quality assurance and these kinds of things.
Exactly. So there's now, when you're building a software product, taking it through the life cycle, there are a dozen different steps of understanding your users, setting up and managing payments for your users, so analytics payments, and understanding if your infrastructure is scaling correctly and so on. All of that needs to be packaged into one opinionated way, where the AI and the human through the AI has access to all the different pieces of that life cycle.
I think that's one of the ways that you've also out-executed your colleagues. You've made sure to abstract away
as much as possible
the burdens of dealing with backend and really packaged it up in a super nice way. Good. I mean, we're coming up on time here. What's your vision for the future? Where you know, if you sort of fast forward 4 or 5 years, and Lovable is the platform that you hope it is. Like, what does that future look like? So
I said before that I think humans are builders at heart, and building things is the best way to have impact on the world. And I see Lovable as a bet on human agency that has been bottlenecked and locked up by how difficult it is to build things. And now that it becomes orders of magnitudes easier, we're going to see an explosion of great services, companies, and just tools that makes our lives easier because of how easy this is becoming.
I think that's a wonderful bet. Anton, thank you so much for coming. Is there anything you wanna wrap up by sending along?
I think there has never been a better day to start a company than today. So I hope that more people realize this and really focus on building something useful. And I also am shamelessly saying you could try to build a full product on Lovable, and I asked the team here to bring up a slide, if they can, with a QR code, so you get free access to start on building something Lovable.
Right. Let's see if we can get the QR code up.
No QR code, but you can still use it for free.
Oh, here it is, great. Okay, thanks a lot, Anton.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Anton. Thank you, Frederick. Now we have an amazing enterprise AI panel coming up. It will be led by and moderated by Mark